नमस्कार, जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेफ टॉक्स। दिस इज आदि अचिंत। हमारे साथ हैं तुषार गुप्ता जी। पहले तो नमस्कार भाई, वेलकम टू द शो वंस अगेन।
Thank you for having me.
लेट्स स्टार्ट विद व्हाट्स हिज नेम, कॉकरोच। ठीक है, कॉक्स एंड द रोचेस ऑल आर सेपरेट, बट इन एनी केस मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि यार हो गए कितने, आई मीन तुम 5 6 7 दिन हो गए तुमको वहां पर। अब तुम वहां पर फार्मर्स को लेके आ रहे हो। वहां पर चन्नी वो क्या है, जो भी है वो दैट गाय फार्मर्स गैप who came out and said
हम्म
कि भाई मैं जब तक मोदी नहीं हटेगा तब तक हम वहां करेंगे।
हाँ
और साला खुद के 1100 वोट थे उसके वहां पर, चरूनी या व्हाटएवर हिज नेम इज। तो
so
ये दिस इज नाउ मेटामॉर्फाइजिंग इनटू समथिंग टोटली डिफरेंट।
no
धर्मेंद्र प्रधान को देखती है।
it's actually revealing itself. I would say the entire guise that it was कि भाई हम तो यूथ मूवमेंट है, हम तो एग्जामिनेशन लीग के खिलाफ हैं, हम तो धर्मेंद्र प्रधान के खिलाफ हैं। मैं आपको अभी कह रहा हूं इवेंचुअली दिस प्रोटेस्ट विल बी अबाउट लीगलाइजेशन ऑफ एमएसपी। ये होगा बिकॉज एक पैटर्न है। 2022 के पंजाब के इलेक्शन से पहले आम आदमी पार्टी मेड दिस एन इशू। 2024 के लोकसभा इलेक्शन से पहले Aam Aadmi Party tried making this an issue when the farmers started marching towards Delhi, but they were stopped at the Haryana-Punjab border. Now, before the 2027 elections, again in UP and Punjab, they'll again want to make an issue out of it कि भाई MSP legalize करो। तो एक pattern है which we have been seeing for the last three key election cycles. अब बात ये है आम आदमी पार्टी which is the parentship of CJP. I don't think there is any doubt left now. There is enough literature on social media. Aam Aadmi Party is trying to fight off anti-incumbency in Punjab. They desperately need an issue to fight on. They are looking at the US-India trade deal. If the agreement happens, the interim deal is already there. कि भाई देखो इन्होंने तो हमारे फार्म और डेयरी सेक्टर को एक्सेस दे दिया. That is the perception they'll go with. जैसे लास्ट टाइम था कि देखो अंबानी अडानी हमारे सारे खेत ले लेंगे, हमारी सारी जमीनें ले लेंगे. Anyway, in this day and age and art discourse, reading is anyway not necessary. कोई पढ़ता लिखता तो है नहीं. Rhetoric is the new currency. So they'll again use the India-US trade deal to create a narrative that boss, our farming and dairy sector is under threat. We need to be secured. How do we get secured? By legalizing MSP. So you legalize MSP. Somehow the youth of India will be shown demanding the legalization of MSP. And somehow that will become the issue. Aam Aadmi Party will go to the farmers and families in Punjab. Will that work? I don't think so. And I'll give you something very interesting here. In Feb 2024, an attempt was made to create Singhu 2.0. The farmers started marching from Punjab towards Haryana and eventually to Delhi. They were stopped at the Haryana border. Why were they stopped that time? Because the government had prior intelligence from 9 to 12 months ago.
Yeah.
मतलब उनको Jan Feb 2023 में पता था कि ऐसा एक प्रोटेस्ट होने वाला है. And they had intelligence, they had where the money was coming from, they had the names of every leader, they had every literature they wanted to. Eventually, the protest was stopped at the border. The fellows camped there for around a year and a half. Eventually, because that's GT Karnal Highway, it's a strategically important highway, national highway, the Aam Aadmi Party state government asked the farmers to leave, and eventually they cleared the area. तो अगर कोई सोच रहा है कि a repeat of 2020, 2021 is possible now, it is not. The government has learned its lesson. What you see with the FCRA, the kind of funding, the kind of NGOs that are involved, every single thing now is being looked into. It doesn't mean that आप प्रोटेस्ट नहीं कर सकते. आपको प्रोटेस्ट करना करो. अब दीप के वहां बैठ के ब्रेड पकौड़ा खा रहा है, छोला कुलचा खा रहा है, बीच में थोड़ा बहुत क्रिकेट खेल लेता है, डांस कर लेता है, करो. I go around the Jantar Mantar area because of work every single day. I haven't seen one traffic disruption. I haven't seen any rush at the metro stations around it because Delhi mein the easiest way to evaluate if anything is crowded or not is just check the metro station traffic around it. It's a very simple litmus test. Kuch nahi hai. It's like just a few idiots camping out trying to grab attention. जैसे Occupy Wall Street था 16, 17 years ago, back in 2011, 12. It made a lot of noise. It made a lot of media headlines. Surprisingly, अब तो ये prime time media में भी नहीं है. No one cares.
एक्चुअली इसके बारे में बात सिर्फ हम लोग कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, राइट विंग भी इसलिए बात करता है कि भाई ridiculous. But again, आपने बहुत अच्छा point किया कि it's metamorphizing into something else. I'm saying it is revealing itself. Eventually, it's there to cater the Aam Aadmi Party. Nothing else.
Okay, let me reframe it. ठीक है, अब आप देखो जो बांग्लादेश, नेपाल और इनके प्रोटेस्ट और ये सब चीजें देखो, ठीक है, who were in the front? NGOs, ठीक है, which is there. एक कोई US based leader type, which is there. LGBTQ, which is there. ट्रांस राइट्स के ऊपर मेरा लिंग, मेरा क्या, whatever nonsense they said. उसके बाद फार्मर्स, which is your, बोलते हैं ना कि एक वो बेस लेवल जो एक क्राउड पुलर टाइप कुछ होता है, तो फार्मर वहां खड़े हो गए. आई डोंट कॉल इट फार्मर्स, आई कॉल इट फार्मर्स,
Yeah.
PHARM, because they're not farmers. Farmers are busy doing rice right now, so वो तो they're waiting for the monsoon. जैसे ही आएगा rice wise, there's that, all that is there. वो पहुंचे हुए हैं वहां पर. They tried to collect the students, वो हुआ नहीं. The Gen Z pretty much has rejected it पूरी तरह से. तो ये जो बेसिक एलिमेंट्स हैं प्रोटेस्ट के, जो वेस्टर्न ड्रिवन ये जो रजीम चेंज प्रोटेस्ट हुए हैं अभी तक, आप अगर देखो इनकी जो यू नो द स्कूल ऑफ रजीम चेंज जो है इनका, which is by the way in Boston only, right? The Albert Einstein Institute on Non-Violent Violence Reform. Do you know about this?
No.
Okay, so let me give you a background if you permit me. There's something called the
Yeah.
Albert Einstein Institute on Non-Violent Regime Change, ठीक है, which is based in Boston. Dipke comes from where? Boston.
Boston.
Then उसके अंदर आप देखो वहां पर एक बंदा है जीन शार्प, ठीक है. जीन शार्प की एक टूल किट है which is called the 198 ways of non-violent regime change, जिसके अंदर ये लोग जहां लिखते हैं ना कैरी अ बुक, कैरी अ फ्लैग, ये वो जो चीजें जो आ रही हैं, दिस इज ऑल पार्ट ऑफ दैट टूल किट. उसका पूरा टूल किट है.
But can I tell you something? This I think is very important. But there is now an entire ecosystem that is in hyperdrive mode, focusing only on the youth. See, a lot of things are happening simultaneously. One, mediocrity in your 20s is no longer going to be rewarded, unlike, say, 10 years ago. AI is evolving in a manner where people in their 20s, the young Indians, will have to sort of equip themselves for the job market. So the mediocre lot or the underperforming lot, that will struggle. That's a given. It's like the people who did not want to learn computer in our parents' generation and eventually were struggling to find jobs, and eventually they learned their lesson and they sort of equipped themselves with the required skill. A very fast revolution is happening in the job market. So there is some degree of frustration amongst people who don't really want to equip themselves. They're stubborn. कि हमारे पास तो कॉलेज का डिग्री है, मेरे तो बोर्ड के पेपर में 90-95% आए थे, मैं क्यों ऐसा कुछ नया सीखूं. एक वो माइंडसेट जो होता है. The other youth, the majority chunk of youth, they are exploring these opportunities. They are looking at the prospects. They are looking at what can be done in manufacturing, and they're working hard. The majority chunk will not be attracted to this nonsense called CJP. It's the little minority in terms of numbers that will be attracted to it, make it a venting ground for their frustration or for their own incompetence, for the lack of a better word. अगर आप वहां आके एक टी शर्ट पहन रहे हो, लाइफ सक्स बट आई सक बेटर, you're anyway unemployable for me. You're anyway, a mediocre person in the larger job market. Let's be very crude. Let's be very honest here. ठीक है ना? Everyone in their 30s today, in their 40s, you go back. I mean, I'm addressing the listeners here. You all have equipped yourselves to sort of rise amongst the lot when it came to the job market. There is a chunk that doesn't want to do. That is the ideal audience for the CJP. Number two, you look at the political parties today, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, Samajwadi, RJD, even the TMC for that matter, whatever is left for it, they'll all now address the youth. This is something they have borrowed from Joseph Vijay's model. Joseph Vijay, interestingly, had 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old camping for him, doing what? Making Instagram reels. Ki Joseph Vijay will come and he'll save our state, he'll save our futures and stuff like that. Having children at the forefront of your protest has an emotional value. It has no logical value. तुम और मैं बात करेंगे, हम कहेंगे 10 साल के बच्चे को क्या पता है पॉलिसी का, 10 साल के बच्चे को क्या पता है कि पॉलिटिक्स में क्या होता है, 10 साल के बच्चे को क्या समझ है कि पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस बंगाल में कैसी होती थी, या यूपी एरा में कैसी करप्शन थी, या पॉलिसी लेटेंसी थी। वी कांट, बट वी गेट स्वेड बाय इमोशन। अरे 10 साल का बच्चा कह रहा है, ओ शी इज सो अपसेट, ओ लुक एट द क्यूट फेस, दे वांट अस टू थिंक अबाउट देयर फ्यूचर्स। जैसे एनवायरमेंटलिज्म की लॉबी चलती है, ग्रेटा थनबर्ग टाइप, that it's not about you, it's about us, the children, the future. Vijay deployed that very well. Now, one thing that worked for Vijay was that he was already a star. He was a household name in Tamil Nadu. We in the north might not agree to that premises, but the elections in hindsight, we can safely say he was a star, and that this tactic worked in his favor. That because the children were like, अगर आपने विजय को वोट नहीं दिया तो मैं अपनी नस काट लूंगा, ऐसी भी एक दो रील्स चलती थी. Now, it's of course not coming from the TVK directly won't endorse all this nonsense, but it creates an emotional narrative around the cause. This is what the parties are trying to do right now. I'll give you a simple example. आज सुबह इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में एक स्टोरी आती है about an MOS who availed a subsidy under a scheme he was eligible for. What are some YouTubers doing? देखो बच्चों, आपके सब्सिडी का पैसा एक मिनिस्टर खा रहा है, आपके बच्चों भविष्य का पैसा एक मिनिस्टर खा रहा है, आपका पेपर लीक हो रहा है पर उसकी सब्सिडी तो जारी है. Things that are not at all connected are being forced together only to create a narrative and to mobilize the younger generation. Now, there is a problem for the BJP also. The younger generation doesn't read. Now, this is something the BJP has to equip itself with. This is the political market now. The BJP can't complain that अरे बच्चे तो न्यूज़पेपर नहीं पढ़ते, टीवी पूरा नहीं देखते, न्यूज़ नहीं समझते, तो हम क्या करें? The BJP also doesn't have that luxury. But today, 10-second reels are creating your political narrative. What is circulated on WhatsApp is creating your political narrative. Rhetoric is the new currency. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality. So the BJP will also struggle here. The youngest voter in 2029 would have been 3 years old in 2014. उसको क्या पता है 26/11 का, उसको क्या पता है पॉलिसी लेटेंसी का, उसको क्या पता है एनएसी का. You pick up any 16, 17-year-old in DU right now or any nearby university where you are, ask them what was the NAC, they'll have no idea. And
Hmm.
NAC was such a constitutional crime against the PMO. No one cares, okay? So the youth is actually a very ideal breeding ground for the opposition right now. And we have to admit this with utmost seriousness. Yes, the CJP stunt might fail, but then it will be reconverted into something else. That might fail, then it will be reconverted into something else. But the polity of the next 3 years will be centered on youth. Because the opposition has also understood you can't go to the rural population because they have tangible benefits through welfare. Your only lobby would be either be with the minority lobby coming from the rural areas or the caste driven lobby who genuinely vote for you because they're a loyal caste base. Okay. Then you can't go to the women in two major states, UP and Bihar, and now even Bengal, across 160 seats where women decide the elections because they prioritize law and order. Next year, one reason why Yogi I'm not saying may win, will win, is because a lot of women will come out and say, we fear what will happen to the law and order if it goes back to the pre BJP days. Bengal में भी यही हुआ. So across 160 seats, which is roughly one third of the parliament, you have women voters rallying behind the BJP. Okay, that issue is gone. You go to the farmers, majority of them are availing schemes, majority of them are okay going around with the BJP. In some pockets they are not, but then they never did. So farmers में एक status को है जो 19-20 इधर उधर होगा, but more or less it will be nothing new for the opposition to gain.
Hmm.
So where do you tap into? अब वो मोदी जी का चलता है ना ज्ञान कि गरीब, युवा, अन्नदाता और नारी, इसमें बचा क्या? युवा. अब युवा का थिंकिंग अलग है. युवा इज मोर इम्पल्सिव, युवा इज मोर एस्पिरेशनल. युवा थिंक्स के मिनिस्टर्स दे डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड मी. प्रॉब्ली इट्स द रिबेल माइंडसेट. वी ऑल हैड इट एट वन पॉइंट. People had it until 2019, 2024 at well. It's very natural. You can't blame the young kids for that. But how does the BJP take their message to it? One solution I've been propagating for almost 7 years now is that you need a White House model for daily briefing, a press coy, press coil. from leading channels across India, regional, national, whatever, newspapers, regional, national, everything. But you need to have a very instant delivery of your message and your counter message.
Yeah.
अब आपकी एक्सप्रेस में स्टोरी आ रही है, एक बड़ी फनी चीज सुनो कि एमओएस ने सब्सिडी ली क्योंकि बिकॉज ही इज रनिंग अ हॉर्टिकल्चर प्रोजेक्ट. People do not even know that there are certain schemes that exempt, or rather that do not allow any MP or MLA to take part in it, to claim any transfer. Let's say PM Kisan Yojana, for example. Okay, but every scheme has a specific guideline. Now this cannot be addressed in a campaign rally, this cannot be addressed in a press briefing, this cannot be addressed on Twitter. Where will it be addressed? It has to be done in briefings like that. Sometimes you go to a White House briefing. Do you see how technical they are? Because they set the narrative, and that technical narrative then dictates how the editorial narrative will work. And that is how information then trickles down to the consumers in the United States. वो model India में नहीं है, and that is now becoming a problem because people don't read. And it's a BJP problem. I'm not blaming the people who don't read. That's their choice they're making. It's the BJP who has to earn their votes, or the Congress, or the Aam Aadmi Party. So if
True, true,
tomorrow
true.
Aam Aadmi Party is capitalizing, which it has been for the last 10 years, on the lack of public memory, I say it's the BJP's failure to not do a good enough job of reminding people what Kejriwal used to say, what he does now. If
अरे
Rahul Gandhi,
राम मंदिर is a clear example.
राम मंदिर इज अ क्लियर एग्जाम्पल, मेरी नानी सपने में आई, ये कहा वो कहा. एक और प्रॉब्लम है, your digital archives are now suddenly getting erased. A lot of newspapers from the articles they published in 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 10 years ago and beyond, they're just getting deleted. Error 404 not found. What are you going to cite? Where is your own archive of what someone has said? So, all these factors are interlinked and all of these things are happening simultaneously. But the center is now going to be the youth. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal are inspirations. I'm not saying those models will work in India. But for the opposition now, that is the only hope. That even if it works by 20%, or even if it can get us a 5% negative swing against the BJP, 5 percentage point swing, it's good enough. Oh, we got them to 240. What if the youth anger gets them to say 180, 170? That is their thinking. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that is the theory they are working with, the framework they are working with. CJP is just one experiment. There will be at least 10 before 2029.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. The season of protests is here. वो तो दिख रहा है. I mean, CJP का भी देखो इतना it's such a apparent thing कि कौन वहां पर है अभी. There were people वहां पर जो क्या बनाना और वो सब दे रहे थे. They were आम आदमी पार्टी people. वो खुले
ये
में बोल
ये
रहा है
ये
जी मैं
ये
तो
2021 में भी हुआ. Who do you
हाँ.
think was arranging for Wi-Fi and food at the Singhu border protest?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who was in the government in Delhi? अच्छा, CJP वाले भी क्या कर रहे हैं? You were right that no one is giving them attention. So like a Big Boss season, every day there is someone like a wild card entry. आज कोई यूपीएससी का टीचर आ गया, आज कोई यूट्यूब का टीचर आ गया, संडे को सोनम वांगचुक आके यहाँ भूख हड़ताल शुरू करेगा, अगले हफ्ते किसान आएंगे ट्रैक्टर पे. They are also trying to get all sorts of elements together, hoping that there'll be some interest.
Hmm.
It's an attempt, to us it might seem futile, but I'm saying this is going to be attempted again and again and again because the opposition now is left with no choice. The BJP is still favorites for 2029. The BJP is still favorites to win UP in 2027, but there'll be a lot of issues that will be raised. You saw what happened in Uttarakhand a couple of days ago, the kind of clashes that they were trying to create between the Nihang Sikhs and the locals over there. Kudos to the administration who handled it very maturely. The police there, the Uttarakhand police, and even the Nihangs who sort of understood that, this needs to be dealt with in a very sensitive and a very mature and a calm manner. They all dealt with it. But there are political parties that will use this to further their youth propaganda. Look at what's happening in Ram Mandir. Parties that have not even supported the Ram Janmabhoomi movement for one single hour in their sorry lives, one single hour, today are on the forefront on non television news channels that भाई सनातन से लूट हो रही है, धर्म को लूटा जा रहा है. कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता ये बोल रहे हैं. देखो देश के युवाओं, आप मंदिर जाते हो आस्था के साथ और आपकी आस्था के साथ ये खिलवाड़ हो रहा है. These are the people who have abused the institution, abused the BJP, abused the VHP, abused the RSS for Ram Janmabhoomi movement. These are the parties that got the Places of Worship Act. And today they are lecturing the BJP on Ram Mandir, and through that lecture, they are targeting the youth. So everything now will be about youth.
See, I was telling you about this 198 methods. Check this out. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp also.
Yeah.
You should read this. अगर आप इसके अंदर देखो,
Can you
group
just forward it
represent.
to me? Let's sort of debunk it live. Let's just
Yeah.
start.
I'll just forward it to you. One
Huh.
second.
Because I
It
won't be
is.
able to read.
Yeah, मैं
Hmm.
आपको भेजता हूँ. एक second. I'll just send it to you.
This is something very important. I think this should be on Twitter.
हाँ, this is something I've been talking about for years now, यार. मैं तो कब से बोल रहा हूँ ये. तो आप देखो यहाँ पर marches, parades, deputations, mock awards, displays of flags and symbolic colors, wearing of symbols, prayer and worship. ठीक है जी. Protest disrobings, symbolic lights, display of portraits, paint as protest, symbolic sounds, boycott social affairs. ये सब चीजें यहीं पर कर रहे हैं ये लोग. They're doing everything as per this toolkit.
अभी तो लेबर लॉस पे भी आएंगे ये लोग. मैं भी
हाँ
बता रहा
हाँ.
हूँ. ये
या.
लेबर लॉस पे भी आएंगे अभी. ठीक है.
तो आप
ट्रेडर्स बॉयकॉट.
इसको देखो
लुक एट.
यहाँ पर.
हाँ.
मल्टी इंडस्ट्री स्ट्राइक्स, हड़ताल्स, इकोनॉमिक शटडाउन. दे ट्राई डूइंग ऑल दिस स्टफ. नोएडा में क्या किया था इन लोगों ने? नोएडा में व्हाट हैपेंड? एग्जैक्टली द सेम थिंग. तो आप अगर इसको
See,
पढ़ो एंड यू विल रियलाइज दिस इज अ कंप्लीट टूलकिट. एंड बाय द वे, इसके मेरे पास आई हैव द SOPs on how to do stuff.
so this is the new reality, boss. Rhetoric is the new currency. Nuisance is the new political model. Rahul Gandhi has embraced it. Aam Aadmi Party was the pioneer in it. Samajwadi will also accept it, though they'll play the caste politics on the ground. But there is a cabinet reshuffle also on the cards. If I were to suggest the government, I would simply say them have some young faces in the cabinet who can perform, not because they are young. Age is no guarantee of efficiency, but only to send out a very subtle message that it's not only about a certain age group, it's also about the youth aspirations. Your communication now needs to be focused on what are the government's goals for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Segment them when it comes to youth. A lot is happening, but a lot isn't communicated also. You need to also start talking about what the urban model of governance will look like. See, I'll tell you, the state governments are not doing their bit. There is a reason your potholes are not fixed because the state governments are not doing their job. It's easy to get on Twitter and abuse the prime minister because मेरा pothole घर के पास का fix नहीं हो रहा, but it's not his job. But then that is where the BJP state governments will also have to sort of pull up their stocks and start working because the youth prioritizes this. The youth wants better cars to drive on, better roads to drive on. The youth wants to be in an atmosphere where they feel that the quality of living at least can rival that of a European city, if not match it. You have to understand the youth mindset. The jobs and all, they'll anyway figure out on their own. I have seen young kids, Adi, I have seen young kids in Delhi who are studying in Delhi University. They actually study in the morning and in the evening they're running food carts. Such
Yeah, I know.
professionally run food carts. Okay? There is an aspiration among students to innovate, to enterprise. Your urban infrastructure needs to back that up. So talk about that more. Your examination system is a problem. Talk about how you want to fix it. Don't let one incident become a root point कि अच्छा यहाँ से हम सब ठीक करेंगे. Don't do that. Because the
Yeah,
kind of
that's a good point.
the kind of counter strikes that are coming towards you in the next 3 years, they're going to be brutal, and the next 6 months are going to be very, very brutal. Because if the opposition cannot score big in UP, it's no point, and they'll try all their might, everything in the world they'll try. Because उसके बाद क्या है, हिमाचल और गुजरात in December 2027. That is a long time away, and BJP will sweep both those states easily. Himachal, they'll not go away anywhere for the next 20 years. I can tell you that. But then that is what the next 6 months are going to look like. And that is why CJP is important. However, where the BJP is focused is the monsoon session. Because a two-third majority is pretty much on the cards. That is also happening. So the opposition now has actually no plan to stop that two-third majority in the Lok Sabha. So for them, nuisance is another distraction and copium.
Hmm.
I don't think people understand this, but delimitation is the single biggest change to our constitutional framework since the republic was born. The way it'll change our politics, the way it'll change how we see our MPs, how policy making happens, how bills are passed and approved. Right now, I'll give an example. Right now, the number of MPs required for a majority in the parliament, simple majority, is 272. That is the bare minimum of women MPs you'll have after the 850 wala number kicks in, after the
Yeah,
reservation kicks in.
yeah.
People don't realize, and more women means more women centric policy making also, which makes it further difficult for the opposition. So we are in that phase right now after Bengal where a lot is happening. Okay, where a lot is happening, but it's all in the production stage. You do not have the finished product right now, both on the opposition side and on the party side and the government side. So everyone is doing their own production in silos, but eventually the results would be seen starting July, August when the monsoon session kicks in, and eventually it will conclude in March 2027 when the UP elections happen. There is one rumor also that the elections might happen early in UP because February it's the census duty and all that. I don't know. It's a rumor, you never know. Things might happen, and BJP has the momentum from Bengal, which they may want to capitalize on. So right now it's very difficult to conclude on anything because everything is being happening in silos. But some very, very interesting things are happening. And watch out for a revised version of the CJP in some other form. Maybe the farmers are supposed to take it forward because this youth movement hasn't found that emotional connect. So
Mhm.
who do you go next? You go to the farmers. If the farmers will fail, I'm sure labor laws का वो एक झांसा देकर they'll get women workers. That, oh look, the poor women workers. So it's a very calculated, move which has been, it's been deployed twice, thrice already. It's a pattern, and let's see how it moves this time.
Let's come to little bit थोड़ा सा different politics. एक वो
Hmm.
now you look at Ram Mandir का thing, they're trying to, all these guys are trying to highlight it. Where honestly telling you, I mean, the people. Fair enough, ये this has happened under Yogi and Modi's rule, but people still have more trust on them कि यही sort out करेंगे उसको. तो उसका उसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. उसके बाद
Hmm.
they took out MP का chief minister का. Now this seems to be बैक टू बैक एफर्ट कि कहीं ना कहीं इनको जरा उस जगह पे लेके आओ बिकॉज देयर इज वन थिंग दैट राइल्ड अप एंड योर योर पॉइंट अबाउट द फैक्ट कि ये वापस कुछ ना कुछ करने की कोशिश करेंगे इज दैट द वन थिंग दैट राइल्ड अप पीपल वाज इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन राइट एंड व्हाटएवर सेड एंड डन देयर इज करप्शन इन द लोअर लेवल आपका
Yeah.
ब्यूरोक्रेसी के अंदर पुलिस के अंदर the judges would the judiciary gets very pissed off, but there are enough and more incidents which are being caught, right? So when we see that, this is one place where I think some focus needs to be there. What's your thought?
Oh, absolutely. I think state level bureaucracy is a mess, and the state governments are not doing enough. I have been writing on my Substack this week all about state finances and why, the state level infrastructure and capital investment is such a mess because state governments are just not doing a good fiscal job, unlike the center. And this is what often sort of misses in our discourse. That state government क्या करे? कोई भी state government. It can be BJP, non-BJP, third party anyway. राम मंदिर वाला सब्जेक्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज राम मंदिर की जो ये ट्रस्ट है, this was the government's way of experimenting with the idea of freeing your temples from state control.
Hmm.
It was a trust that was formed by the government with 9 permanent members, 6 nominated members, and everything. But it was not under the control of the state government. Now, there has been a theft, clearly, there have been recoveries, partial or complete, we don't know. Investigation is still on. There might be more names, there might be no more new names. We still don't know. But this has done a lot of things. One, it has taken the debate of free temples from state control back by at least 10 years. On television debates in the mainstream media, already a lot of anchors, a lot of panelists are asking this question that this was a trust outside state control. How could it mess up? How could it not account for all the money that was coming in properly, given the large amount of money coming in every single day? That's number one. Number two, you'll have to set an example. Not because you want to prove a point as a state government, but because this is about the devotees. It's not about the institution, it's not about the temple premises, it's not about who was in the trust, it's not even about the state government here. The entire process needs to be fast tracked, the entire legal proceedings need to be fast tracked because you want to tell the devotees that their devotion is not being played with. And their devotion might be कि चलो मैंने 10 किलो चांदी चढ़ा दी. आदि की श्रद्धा थी, आदि ने 10 किलो सोना चढ़ा दिया. वो उसकी devotion है. But how heartbroken Adi would be to realize that that 10 kilogram of gold or silver is not being used for the temple premises or for the people who work in the temple or come to the temple or, around the temple premises, but to fill someone's private coffers. That sentiment needs to be addressed. And that is the state government's job. Number three, and I think Yogi Adityanath will have to walk this, difficult path. He'll have to fight this battle before the elections, and it will be in his best benefit if he can address it before the elections. It has to be. A lot of
Hmm.
people will try to make caste angles out of this. Arvind Kejriwal is already doing that. उसने तो ये भी कंक्लूजन निकाल दिया कि ये पूरा एक स्कैम जो निकल के आया इसलिए आया बिकॉज यू वांट टू रिमूव द चीफ मिनिस्टर. वही है ना, यू रिटोरिक इज द न्यू करेंसी, कुछ भी बोल के निकल लो. एंड पीपल ड्वेल ऑन सच हेयर से एंड रिटोरिक कि अच्छा ऐसा हो सकता है. Yogi is the one who's going to, order the investigation. He's already made arrests. And now the state is getting involved. So a lot of mess will be made around this. But let me tell you, no true Hindu of any caste, of any creed, of any, region will object to the investigation being done if it's done in a thorough manner. The government should only think about the devotion of the billion Hindus and take this forward and address this because there has been a problem, it needs to be fixed. But here is my question: where are all those people who used to talk about freeing the temples from state control? For 12 years, they abused Modi. For 12 years, they said he's done nothing for the Places of Worship Act. For 12 years, he said he's incompetent because he's not done anything for temple and state control. Where are those people? Can they at least suggest an alternate model of accounting?
No,
That
no,
okay,
no,
this was, huh?
no, 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 no. That won't happen
It,
because those people are just there to sit and just sit on a high horse and basically say, "See,
yeah.
this is not happened. This is not happened. This is not." Never a single practical point has been. देखो यार, ideological and rhetorical जो आपका retort होता है, what does that mean is righteous. भैया ये ऐसे होना चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं होता भाई. Real life is very different, and I have been very clearly raising my voice against anything कि भाई पहले एक ट्रस्ट बनाओ, दैट ट्रस्ट टू बी
Hmm.
ट्रस्टेड, उसको पूरा सेटअप करो, उसका पूरा पब्लिक में प्रेजेंट करो, लेट देयर बी पब्लिक क्रिटिक ऑन दैट कि साहब हिंदुओं ये आपका ट्रस्ट है, बताओ इसके अंदर क्या गड़बड़ हो सकती है, लेट देयर बी पब्लिक क्रिटिक, उसके बाद एक सैंपल करो आप उसका, उसके बाद जाके यू स्टार्ट आस्किंग फॉर योर टेम्पल्स. तुम्हारे पास कुछ स्ट्रक्चर है नहीं, कल को साइन कर दिया दिस थिंग, 90% डोंट इवन नो मोदी नीड्स अ 2/3 majority in the parliament to even sign that.
So again, where are those people? And if they won't come up with it, the state will come up with an accounting model. फिर आप कहोगे state तो interfere कर रहा है. See, it's I rarely look at certain issues from a emotional filter. This one has to because this is a temple that was constructed
Yeah,
after
yeah,
500
yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah.
A political battle was fought for 40 years. A legal battle was fought for 30 odd years since 1992. And how does it end? It ends with someone stealing gold coins. Someone had made a very, they have taken a slide. They said you get once in a century, once in a millennium kind of opportunity to run a temple, which is the testament to the glory of your civilization. And this is what you do with it. You know, these people have also done a great disservice to all the Hindus who may want to run and manage their own temples because
Yeah.
they have given the state a reason. And when I say the state, I also mean the DMKs and the TVKs and the
Mhm,
communist governments
mhm,
down
mhm.
south who will now say, oh, look what happened in the Ram Mandir. How do you know that this won't happen in the same mandir, say down south, any temple? Why should the state not interfere? If certain kilograms of gold is coming every day to Tirupati or any other temple, why shouldn't the state be interested, or at least be interested from an accounting perspective? क्या जवाब दोगे आप उनको?
You know,
No
this
answers.
is there is no answer. कुछ भी नहीं है, क्या
Yeah.
बोलोगे उसको? And this is at the time where केरला में temples के अंदर से साला gold गायब हुआ है, right? The मूर्ति is
Yes.
gone, the this is gone, the that is gone. उसका पूरा केस चल रहा है वहां पर, where there's been systematic theft. ये तो whatever, I mean, this is horrible, but it's still a singular incident. And by the way, where the temple trust themselves came and said, यार कुछ हो रहा है यहाँ पर गड़बड़, भैया आके देखो यहाँ पर.
No, now you have CCTV footage. Of course, there's an SIT report that has been submitted. Look, people are heartbroken, at least the ones who are talking about this. The best the government can do at this point, from an administrative viewpoint, is to make sure accountability is fixed, justice is done. That is the only
उसके
thing you
बाद
can do for the devotees now. There's nothing else. You
yeah,
can't turn back the clock. You might want to change the composition of the trust. That's all fine. But what the devotees would most want is for that trust to come back. If they are, I mean, like, let's be very fair. Most of the devotees coming there, they don't even care for the chadhava or what is done with it. It's their internal, sentiment or that's devotion. They don't care. They are not materialistic in that regard. But that doesn't mean you take them for a spin as a temple trust. So this is where the state government will have to fix accountability and ensure justice is done. But वही है, any small issue now, any small issue, coming back to the original point, will be amplified and be given a youth filter, a yuva filter, to push the political propaganda of the opposition. Any small issue, literally any issue under the sun.
tell me this, there are certain politicians, and अभी
Hmm.
वो politician भी नहीं बचे हैं, वो तो there are certain
Hmm.
people who are, you know, they were supposed to be pretty, you know, balanced and this and that, and suddenly अभी अगर उसको देखो, they have started their own YouTube channels, ठीक है, तो वो सब हो रहा है, and these people they are like, you know, बोलते हैं ना, the righteous lot, कि भैया हम सबसे ठीक हैं, बाकी तुम सब गंदे हो.
Hmm.
And I don't want to name anybody, but I'm sure you're getting my drift. You look at these guys, yaar. I mean, it's somewhere down the line. It is just so ridiculous. कि भाई तुम कर क्या रहे हो? You think that we can't see your history? The point here that I'm driving at is, for example, the E20 this thing. ठीक है.
Hmm.
Today a protest. अभी 5 जुलाई को तहसीन or somebody is taking out that entire thing. A protest has become a thing to भाई अपनी मैं थोड़ी चमका लेता हूँ. अब यार E20 तुम सारे यूरोप जाते हो, ऑल यू पीपल गो टू यूरोप, मुझे एक चीज बताओ, वहां पर E30 चल रहा है, उसमें कुछ नहीं है तुमको? यू डोंट रियलाइज? नहीं, दे शुड बी प्योर पेट्रोल इन द दिस थिंग. वी आर पेइंग फॉर 20% एथेनॉल एक्स्ट्रा. अबे वो भी तो, उसका भी तो कॉस्ट आता है भाई.
See, again, and at the risk of repeating myself, you can't address these things. Like people like you and me will go into the technicalities because, for the lack of a better word, we are nerds. Okay. How does the government take that clarification to the masses? It cannot be through the Press Information Bureau. It cannot be through an election rally. It cannot be through a Twitter statement. It needs to be in a daily briefing. The government's communication model has to change. What they do on the PIB needs to be done by a human also every single day, twice a day. वरना ये प्रॉब्लम्स बढ़ेंगी. अभी तुमने एक बहुत सिंपल सी चीज बोली कि भाई E20 E30 तो यूरोप में भी होता है और ये सब लोग जो प्रोटेस्ट करे सब यूरोप जाते हैं, वहां जाके कोई प्रोटेस्ट नहीं करता. Why can't a point this simple be made in the briefing? I don't know.
My car, my right. हाँ जी, आपकी कार है, आपकी
हाँ,
right ही है. Nobody is taking away that
सड़क
from you
किसकी
यार.
है? सड़क किसकी है?
नहीं, वो ठीक है, तुम्हारी
तेल
right
की
है,
कंपनी
बढ़िया
किसकी
है.
है? नहीं नहीं,
हाँ जी,
वेयर
यहाँ
डज इट स्टॉप ना? माय कार माय रूल्स. सरकार कहेगी माय रोड माय ओएमसीज. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम विद रेटोरिक. If you can give me one rhetoric, I'll give you two, and nothing will ever get done. So again, it's going to be made a youth affair कि देखो आप पहली गाड़ी खरीद रहे हो और आपकी गाड़ी में एथेनॉल है. हर चीज पे अब युवा फिल्टर आएगा. बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट. That's all I can tell you at this point. And CJP has given us a new model of protest. If you can accumulate 50, 100 people together anywhere in the city, anywhere in India, the media and the opposition is so desperate and so hungry right now that some MLA, some MP, some minister in a state government will come and validate you and give you an opportunity to be featured in the mainstream media. So protest also is now a new currency.
Yep,
That's it.
that's true. I think that's very well said. Tushar bhai, thank you so much. This
Thank
has
you.
been a very interesting discussion, and इसको थोड़ा सा, we have to keep on addressing this issue so that we can
Yes.
keep putting this across कि भाई ये toolkit चल रहे हैं यार ध्यान से. But I'm proud to say one thing, that the बड़ी Gen Z, आप Instagram पे देखो, इनकी खिल्ली उड़ा रखी है वहां पर, इनकी पैंटें उतार रखी हैं लोगों ने. These kids are, I mean, they're ruthless, and they've taken these guys out. Ki, boss, don't stand for us. We know what we're doing. I am so
Yeah.
proud of these guys who are doing all this stuff, and I'm obviously not proud of that, the Akshay and his Nimbus, but in any case, thank you so much. And
Thanks.
guys, सबको reminder है, Tushar bhai writes a Substack, so I'll link the thing in the description. Check it out, and of course, check out our website also, www.thedevtalks.com, and support this channel. All the details are in the description. Namaskar, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.